the privilege to introduce Kyra Harmon. She is a wonderful FpKids volunteer as well. One of those small group leaders that I was talking about earlier. Kyra is actually a kindergarten and first grade small group leader to some elementary kids at our 11:30 service. And I just want to tell you guys what an impact Kyra is making in our ministry. So I have the privilege of having a 9-year-old daughter who sat in Kyra's group a few weeks ago. And as Kennedy, my daughter, left, she brought a note with her, and it was the most sincere, handwritten note about how my child is impacting the kingdom of God, signed by Kyra, her small group leader. And I cannot tell you how much that built up Kennedy in her heart and affirmed her. And I am just so honored that Kyra is pouring into something so personal to me, that she's pouring into not only my child, but so many other elementary school kids on Sundays. So I am so excited to hear what God has laid on her heart and what she's going to share with us tonight. So everyone, please stand up, give a really, really huge welcome to Kyra.
High school. Are there any other admirals out there? Awesome. I am really excited to be here with you guys today for overtime. And I just wanted to take a second and thank Pastor Daniel for giving me this awesome opportunity to be here with you guys today. So applause for Pastor Daniel, everyone. Yeah, all right. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about victory. And I actually have a story where I personally found victory, so I'm going to tell that to you, make a little more sense. So a few years ago, I went on a cruise, and it was a sea day, so I was looking for something to do. And so I'm walking around, and I'm looking for something to do, and I see a ropes course. And I go, yeah, that's what we're doing. So I get up, and I get in line, and they strap me in. And on this particular ropes course, they give you an option. Do you want to do the easy course, or do you want to do the hard course? And I'm a self-proclaimed daredevil, so I was like, the hard course, obviously. So they hooked me up into the hard course, and I'm having a great time, I'm zipping through the obstacles. And then I come to this one rope. And that's exactly what it was just one rope. And this kind of thing doesn't usually scare me, but this time it did. I got really freaked out, because I'm halfway through the rope, and the wind picks up. And I'm up high, the boat's moving, and the wind's coming at me really hard, and I start to freak out. My mind starts racing, and I'm like, oh no, I am going to fall. It's going to push me over the side, and I'm going to be swinging in the air, hanging in the harness, and someone's going to have to come rescue me, and that's going to be really embarrassing. I'll never be able to get on a ropes course again. And so I'm looking around, looking backwards, maybe I can go back, and there are people queuing up behind me, so I'm like, well, can't do that. And then this person, complete stranger who's on the platform ahead of me, stops and he sees me and he goes, hey, it's just a little wind. You got this. No big deal. I'll stay here. It'll be no big deal. So I'm looking around and I'm like, I can't go behind me, I can't go either side of me, so I guess I'll go forward. So I take a step forward, and another, and the next thing I know, I am so close to the edge of the platform that he is holding his hand out and pulling me up. And bada bing, bada boom, I made it to the end of the obstacle, so yeah. But I don't tell you guys this story just for kicks, or even because Pastor Daniel said I had to tell a story if I'm going to do this. I tell you guys this story because I think that there are some of us in this room who are in the middle of our own ropes course. We're in the middle of our own obstacles, and the wind starts coming at us and we get scared. I think that some of us are holding on to stuff, and we don't want to let go of it, whether it's an X, or anxiety, or depression, whatever it may be, we don't want to let go of it, because whether God is our best friend or a complete stranger, it's hard to let things go. Is it? Okay. Oh, they got you one for me. Here we go. Well, okay. So whether God is our best friend or a complete stranger, we don't want to give things up because we're holding on to it so tight because we don't think anyone else can handle it. But the thing is, guys, we have victory when we let Jesus conquer our past. And I know that we have really complicated histories. I know that we all have at least 11 years under our belt of messing up, of failure, of sin. And we're like looking at this, we're holding it in our arms and we're saying, Jesus, you don't want this. This is a lot. I messed up. You don't know what I did. I messed up really bad. You don't want this. You don't want me. You can't handle me. But the thing is, guys, God is looking back at us and he's saying, I want you. I am in complete and utter love with you. So I will take on everything that is in your arms. I will take on every little bit of it because I love you and I want to see you succeed. I want to see you make it to the other side of the rope. And we're not the only ones who get scared by the wind. In fact, in the Bible, in Matthew chapter 14, the same thing happens to one of Jesus' disciples. So I'll give you a little context. In Matthew 14, the disciples are in a boat in the middle of a thunderstorm because that's a great time to go fishing. And so they're in the middle of the boat and the wind is howling, it's coming at them, the rain is coming down on them really hard, and the waves are crashing against the boat, and they're scared. And then, to make matters worse, they see a figure walking towards them, and they freak out. Someone cries out, "It's a ghost! We're gonna die! It's a ghost! Oh no!" And they're really scared. And then this figure speaks out to them and says, "Hey, no need to be scared, it's just me. It's your man, it's Jesus." And Peter does what we should never do, and he decides he's going to test Jesus. And it says this, Peter answered Jesus, said, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." And Jesus said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and began to sink. How many of us are like Peter? How many of us hear Jesus say, "Come to me"? And we say, "Yeah, okay, we got this." And we step out into the water, we step out into the road, and we're going to church every Sunday. We're having a great time. We're inviting our friends on Wednesdays. We're serving in church. And then the wind comes. The wind starts to blow on us, and it starts to remind us of things. Hey, remember when you stole $10 out of your mom's pocket? Remember when you told your friend that you hated her? What if your friends don't like you anymore? What if you'll never amount to anything? What if? Remember? And we start to freak out. And I don't know about you guys, but when life gets hard, that's a great place for me to quit. It's a great place for me to sit down and go, "Yeah, Jesus, you got this. Go on without me. I'm going to sit here. Might have a snack. Nap sounds really great right now. You got this, go on." And so we give up, because that's what's easiest. The thing is, guys, that's not what we're supposed to do. When life gets hard, when being a Christian gets hard, what we're supposed to do is actually what Peter goes on to do in verse 31. And it says this, Peter cried out, "Lord, save me." And Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. See, the thing is, guys, when life gets hard, that's not when we give up. All we have to do is go, "Lord, save me." And he will reach out his arm and pull us out of the water, pull us onto our platform. He's not gonna look at you and go, "Yeah, about that. You stopped believing in me. You took a break. Can't help." He's not gonna stop and look at you and go, "You never prayed a prayer. You never gave your life to me." After you drown out. And he's not going to look at you, look around the room all confused and go, "New phone, who dis?" No, guys. Jesus is going to immediately reach out and pull you out of the water because he loves you. And the thing is, guys, if the enemy is the wind who is reminding us of our past, who is reminding us of everything bad that we've ever done, then Jesus is the windbreaker who is promising us a future. Now you guys are a little quiet. I'm going to repeat that one, okay? If the enemy is the wind who is reminding us of our past, then Jesus is the windbreaker, promising us our future. victory when we know who God is. So it's really important to know that God is a few things. He is almighty. He's almighty. He is powerful. He has the strength to do anything. He created the world in 7 days. He can do anything. He can hold all your brokenness, all your pain, all your sin, all your struggle. And God is a father. And a father, he loves his children. And we are his children. And finally, God is victory. So just by knowing who he is, we find victory. In Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10, it says this: "Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, and I will hold you up with my victorious right hand." All this verse is saying, guys, is that God loves you and he is powerful enough to hold you up. All this saying is that you have no reason to be afraid of the wind. You have no reason to be scared that you are going to sink when you step out in the water, when you step out to follow Jesus, because he will pull you up, because he will hold you with his victorious right hand. What this is saying is that he is our God, and our God loves us, and our God is strong enough to fight off our depression, fight off our anxiety, to get rid of our grudges, whatever is holding us back. What this means is that our God will arm us with his strength, the power. He will arm us with his truth. He will arm us with everything that we need to move on, to keep going, to overcome the enemy, to overcome the wind. What this means is our God will hold us up because he loves us, and our God wants to have a relationship with us. He loves us, and he wants to have a relationship with us. And that leads us to our third point. We have victory when we decide to live for him. For me, it's hard not to know what the outcome of something is going to be. It's really hard not to know where things are going, what happens next, who it's happening with, when it's happening, whatever. But the thing is, guys, living for Jesus is a huge gain of uncertainty. It's a huge gain of not knowing what's going to happen next. Because God is going to call us to do things that are scary, things that we don't know what's going to happen. For example, he calls us to get up in front of a bunch of high school or middle schoolers and preach about stuff you are still learning about yourself. He calls us to invite our friends to church, even if they don't believe in him, because he wants to move in their lives just as much as he wants to move in yours. And I know it's scary because you don't know how they're going to respond, what's going to happen next. But that's how God moves. He moves in the uncertain. He moves in the uncomfortable. But when you take the next step of faith, when you say, okay, God, I'll get up on stage. I'll preach for a bunch of high schoolers and middle schoolers. Yeah, God, I will step out in the water and I will invite my friend to church. I'll do it. He does amazing things that we wouldn't have expected, that we wouldn't have been able to do if we just sat back and said, yeah, I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to have a snack. God, go on without me. And God has done a lot of amazing stuff for me, but I figure that he's done a lot more stuff for other people. So I asked some of my friends, I asked some of my family, what God has done for them when they decide to step out in faith too. And one thing I learned is even though the specifics change, even the specifics of each story change, everything greatly overlaps. What God does overlaps, because he does it for each and every one of us. What I learned is that when we step out in faith, when we live for God, he fills us with overwhelming confidence. He gives us the confidence to step out in faith. He gives us confidence to go out into the unknown. And then he gives us overwhelming joy. He gives us the joy to fight off our depression. He gives us the joy to be able, hey guys, look what God did for me. I'm so much better. The world is so much brighter, and you can have that too. He gives us overwhelming peace. He gives us the kind of peace that fights off anxiety, the kind of peace that calms our nerves, that lowers our heart rate, that says, hey, I think I can do this. I think I can step out and do what you have called me to do. But guys, the one thing that I learned most is that when you step out in faith, when you decide to live for Jesus, he brings you overwhelming victory.